Good day, Paper Army. This is the stands for these snow speeders. And so they go like this, and they're strong enough to be able to hold it up and not wobble around too bad. And so with that stand, what you have to do is you have to take your body part, all right, like this, and you mark it out just like this. And I use 6 layers to build the stand for these, because that way they're heavy enough that they can stay in place. And so one of the things you have to do is you have to straighten out your paper clip to make your stand with. And so that's what I'm pretty good at doing, is straightening this stuff out. It's one of those things that it's kind of a little bit of an art to get your to get them straight enough so that they will work and look good. Okay, at this point, what you have to do is you have to bend the bottom like this, right? Because what this is going to do is this keeps it upright so that it doesn't tip over. If you just have one little lever on there or layer on there, what happens is it'll fall over, and it defeats the purpose of building your stand. Now, after you've got your 6 pieces of this, 3 of them you need to make a hole in so that you can put your stand up through like this. And what that actually does is that gives you this here. You have to wrap this to make it strong enough to withstand a lot. This is 6 pieces. In here, I can still feel the lump of where this part is in the stand. Okay, so what you've got is, here's what you've got. You've got your stands. They look just like this. I wrap this with paper because that gives you the added support that you need. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. This, I want to make this stand different than these stands. And so I know that that is my mark right there. So I'm going to do this here. Now, these don't cut very well with anything. And so, where is my side cutters? There they are, right there. Okay, so the side cutters are going to be your best bet to cut this stuff. Once you get that cut off, then you have to take and sand this down so that it bonds well with your paper. Now, what I have is that is there. Oh, well, there's something I didn't notice. This is an angle because of the way this sets down in there. And so that means I need to sand it off so that it has the proper angle on it, so that when you glue this on here, it fits together. And that is almost correct. Just a little tiny bit more. And so now what I've got is that fits very, very good. Now, depending on what I want this to look like, if I want it to match this down here, then I have to sand these edges off like this, so that when the paint goes on here, it actually looks just the same as this bevel that you have down there. All right, that looks really good. So I'll put a little mark right there so I know where this needs to be glued to. So I don't know where that little chirping noise is coming from, but I hope it isn't bothering the video any. Yeah, and I'm still getting it. Is your dog licking himself?
No.
Well, whatever you're doing, it's transferring right to the recording. So, thank you, honey bunny. So's your voice. Okay. That's my wife, you guys, in case you're wondering. That's who I'm talking to. And there is part of that. So now I decide, what do I want to do with the next little bit of it? Well, I'm not sure how I actually want to handle this. So I think I'm going to do this. This is going to be, well, before I do that, I've got to make this right. All right. Okay, so what I've got going on here is now I have got to back this piece here, but it has to have this angle put on it correctly so that it will attach to this paper and give it the most strength possible. And that looks very good right there. And so now what we want to do is we are going to take the side cutters and we are going to cut this up here. And that's how hard this paper is. It is really, really tough. And that came off nicely. And so now you just square up your edge, put your bevels on, just like this piece down here, so that you've got all your matching pieces. And then across the top. And now, that goes in there just like that. And there is one custom stand. And so then you drill a hole in the bottom of here. This goes on there just like that. And you have a completed stand piece. The only thing I've got left to do on these, if you're looking into it, is these sections here. You have to get these pieces finished. As you can see, I've got this here. Well, it has to be covered with that little piece of paper. And then you have to trim up your small pieces of like tissue paper, cut them up very fine, and you mix them all together, and then you can put them in here, and these become solid at that point in time. And I think we are getting a lot closer to having, and I just noticed something on this. This little piece stood up. As this dried, that little piece I put in there goofed up. Oh, and that is very disappointing. And so, one of the ways to fix that is to take this little pointy thing and put it down inside here like so, and then bend that over like that. Because that block, it has to hold the cable to the gun. Because that is your harpoon for the snowspeeder. Now, I just noticed also that this piece, when it dried, oh really, it glued itself together. Which, those little accidents happen. And so now, that is a stand. That is all you have to do to make your stand. You need this on here to help stabilize it and to put in these pieces here. All right, so what we've got over here is we've got these little pieces over here. There's one and there's two. All right, so now what I have to do is I have to check this to see, because the last time I did this, they were a little short. And I don't want that to happen again. That goes in there, and that goes to there, and that goes down there. And it looks like it's going to be just absolutely fine. All right, so now what we do is we just put just a tiny bit of glue in there. And you can squirt more glue than you need, and then relax your pressure on your glue bottle, and it will suck off all the excess glue from where you're working. And that goes on there. So now that has to dry, because you don't want to, if you play around too much with it, it'll come loose on you. Now, something I forgot to do on this first one is put just a little bit of glue also on the gun itself. Okay, because that'll help hold it in place as well. And so what I'm going to do with this is, to fix that, is I'm going to take and put a little bit of glue right here on there, like that. And then I am just going to move this under here, put a little bit of glue on there just like that, and then set that back down. So that's what's going on with those. Now, to this tissue paper that you're using, whatever you're using to make this with, you have to cut this into just hair-like size pieces. Because what it is going to do is, it is going to turn this into, and if you want them smaller than that, you cut this like so. And then you just keep cutting them like that, and now you're getting 2 instead of 1. And what these things do is, this then blends so well that you don't have to worry about sanding your parts down. you just take a straight edge or a flat spot, like the tail end of these, and you just lick it a little bit like that, and then you just pack all this in like so, front and back of that, and that will pack those tight enough so that when you paint it, they look really, really good. Oh, and I just kind of puffed a little bit with my breath, and it blew all those little shavings that I'd cut all over the place. That's why you don't want to sneeze working around your paper, because it goes all over the place. All right. So, let me see. This is a short video for number 5. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be doing more than this. But I think this is about the end of everything. I used for the harpoon wire. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little block of paper in here holding the back of the wire, and it goes in underneath of the harpoon here. And all it is one strand. That's it, one strand of 14 gauge malleable wire. And there's like 13 strands in each strip. But you can bend this and make it fit just about any which way you want it to. So I bent it to go underneath of the harpoon, and then around this way and down inside there, and then I put that little block on the end of it. So this is a technically quite accurate fighter. Now, something that you need to do, all right? These are the engines back here. These are drivers, but they got little holes in them rather than a big one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of this glue here, not much, very little, and I'm going to grab some of this like so. Come here, you. And now I'm going to work this all up into what I would say is a putty or a paste, because it'll turn into cement is what it'll do once it's dry. But now what you do is you just stick this in the end of the engine. Okay? That goes in there just like that. Then you take this, you lick it first, and you put it on there, and it smooths out. It becomes a perfect part. And that also plugs the end of that. So when you paint it, it becomes a solid piece. And here is the second one. And the nice thing is, since I have all this little teeny tiny cut pieces like this, I'm just going to go ahead and do both ships. You hook that, and then you just start stuffing it down inside there, just like that. There it is. And that now has made the other back of that engine sealed up, so that when I paint it, it's going to look right. Okay. Don't need that one. And you don't need much of this, okay? Just very tiny amount. and you just kind of tip it into place, just like that. All right, and then you smush it down just like so, and it makes an absolutely beautiful end cap for your engines. Okay. Yeah, bring that up there. And so, here we go with the last one. Yeah, and that goes right on there like that. Okay. There is the other one done. And that is just about the end of it. The only thing that's left now, really, with these is I have to finish those, which I've already showed you a little bit about how to do this. Matter of fact, with what I did for back there on the engines, you do the same thing up here on the front of these. I guess this would be chassis to the guns, because it is what is here. And so anyway, that is the end of this tutorial. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.